Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 2 of the Study Light Blender tutorial. In part 1 we went through the modeling process, so if you haven't watched it yet, you'll need definitely to watch it first and then come back to this video. The link is in the description, you can find it easily and go along with the process. And in part 2 we're gonna work on some lights and camera setup and also making the stickers and the sticky note on the light itself. And finally we'll give it some textures and work on the compositing part. Also, at the end of this video, I'm gonna inform you with a good news for the challenge and for you all guys, and I'm gonna give you a challenge to work with on. So keep watching the video up to the end. Let's get started. Click and drag your mouse from the right bottom part of your viewport to split the viewport into two parts, and press T here to close up this panel. Let's first of all work on the camera, and after that we're gonna give the lights and extra stuff. So press Shift A and bring a camera, and according to our reference image it should be somehow like this, the camera view. So when you're satisfied with the results of your viewport, hold Ctrl Alt and 0 to fit the camera to the viewport, and it is the squarey, it is the Click and drag your mouse to the left part to split the viewport into two parts, and press T in this part to close up this panel. So first of all, let's work on the camera setup and add the camera, and after that I'm gonna give it some lights. So according to our reference, the last result should be from this view somehow. So when you're satisfied with the view, just hold Ctrl Alt and 0. Oh, we didn't add the camera. Press Shift A and add a camera. So press Ctrl Alt and 0 to fit the camera to the view. So, but this isn't the ratio that I wanted to take a render of that. So I wanted a squarey, square image. So come to the output part and change the resolution of the X and Y to 1920. I want it to be a square image like that. And come all the way down to the data of the camera and change the focal length to about maybe 70. So press N to go to the view part, and in this part lock the camera to the view. So by doing that you can just lock the camera to the view, and with moving and navigating in your view, the camera view also will be changing. So the camera setting up would be so easier for you and convenient. So just find a good view for our render, and when you're satisfied with the result, just like this, press N again and disable this option, because in that case when you coincidentally and accidentally move your viewport or navigate in the viewport, the camera also will be changing, and with Ctrl Z it wouldn't change. So be careful about that. So, and I just recognize that this part, the bottom part of our light, is a little bit shrinking. It should be open and wider. So press Tab. Let's fix that first, and to go to edit mode and hold Alt and select this last edge loop, this one, and this is the proportional editing. So you can just enable and disable it by clicking on it, or the hotkey is O. You can just press O to enable it. So enable the proportional editing, press S to scale it, and by middle mouse button you can control the size of it. So you just make it like that and try to scale it a little bit higher. I think that would be much better than before. So this is our camera, and last thing about camera setup is going to render. Because I will render this in the Cycles engine, not the EV. And if you have the GPU, let's just change the CPU to GPU. In that case it would be faster and much more time saving. And come all the way down up to the film color management and change the look from the none to very high contrast. In that case it would show the scene a little bit more contrasty and looking good. So this is the camera, we are all set. And also come to this part and decrease the world color a little bit. I want it to be a little bit more darker, so let's change this part to the viewport shading, I mean the render part. In that case it will show the render, just render to us, and in that case we will work on the, you know, giving lights. So press Shift A, let's bring our first light. We're gonna add 3 types of lights: the main light, the rim light, and the third of it is the support light. First of all, let's add the, you know, main light. I'm gonna add an area light. Press G and Z, bring it higher, and from the, let's, you know, decrease this part a little bit, and let's come to the light data and change the power a little bit more, maybe to 20, and it should be maybe from there. Yeah, so, and about the shape, let's change it from square to disc. In that case it would be much, you know, it won't have sharp edges, yeah, or light. So press 1 to go to front orthographic view. Just press R and type 45 to rotate it 45 degrees and bring it to the left part, just like that. And also press 7 to go to top orthographic view. Press R again 45 to, you know, rotate it 45 degrees and bring it exactly up to here. So, or maybe we can bring it to this part. That's good. So let's change the color. We're gonna change the color later and not now, because we're gonna add some more, maybe more different lights to that. So I'm gonna just, you know, keep the lighting part up to this point, because after adding the materials and textures to our model, we'll need additional lighting. So in that case we will work on that more on lighting part. So let's select this one, the lid of our, you know, light, and let's zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna first of all create this material. So let's change the viewport from here to a shader editor. In that case we can work on the shading part. So click on new, and I'm gonna call it lid. So we're gonna need a noise texture for creating these parts. So press Shift A and search for noise, and with this one selected, press Ctrl T to opening up mapping node and texture coordinate and change the object to the vector. So if you don't have this one, when you press Ctrl T, nothing will happen. It's because that you should enable the node wrangler add-on. So for enabling that, that's you'll hear it lots of times, millions of times from the YouTube videos. You can just come to edit, preferences, and add-ons and search for node wrangler and just enable it. In that case it will work for you as well. So let's plug the color to the base color and bring it a little bit to the left part, and because we're gonna need the color info of that, so let's search for a color management as well. Color management, no, color ramp or color management. So bring it in between the noise texture and principal BSDF. So we have 2 colors here. The first color should be about pink, the main color, and the other one should be about these rusty effects. So select this white color here and click on that color and select the eyedropper tool and just select one of the pink colors in the midtones of the light, and maybe here would be good, but I think it's a little bit more dark. Let's choose it from here. I think it's good. We can change it later. So let's click on this black color, and this time we're gonna just, with eyedropper tool, I'm gonna select this color here, and I'm not satisfied with the pink color. We can choose a better one. Yeah, it is good. So let's decrease these, you know, distance between 2 colors up to around, let's zoom in a little bit, around that point. That is good. So we can just work on the detail a little bit, make it less detailed, and also the roughness. I think it is good. So there's no need to work on these parts as well. If you need to change, you know, the location of your texture, you can work on the location, rotation, and also scale. You can work on the scale as well. Oh, I accidentally removed this one. So let's make it to 0, and about the scale, you can just scale it to give it, more bigger rusty effects or smaller ones. It depends on you, that what do you want for. Maybe you can go on with this as well. Okay, so I like it. So let's bring a bump node. Press Shift A and search for bump, and plug the normal to the normal, and let's select these ones and bring them backwards a little bit, and plug the height to the color of the color ramp node. In that case, it would use this info to bump our into our shape. So, but it's too much. We have to decrease the amount to about maybe there. I think that would be good. Yeah, and we're gonna go on with lighting. So let's select this light. Where is it? Press 7 and press Shift D, bring it to the back behind our object, and rotate that all the way up to there, and bring it lower, closer to our object, and press 0 to go to the camera view, and bring it a little bit to the left part, and press R twice to enable the trackball rotation, and it should be just like that. And the power should about around 5, shouldn't be that strong. And also the size, we're gonna decrease the size a little bit, just to, it is for the rim light to have this a decent effect on the edges of the model in the back side of it. So I think that's good. I'm satisfied with that. So let's select this and change the color to a pink color like this, and we can add another color, the supportive colors, lights, not colors, sorry. So let's Shift D and bring another light here, and press R twice to enable trackball rotation, and again R twice, just like that. And maybe this one should be a little bit from the in front of the shape, just about there, but it's too much. We have to decrease the power maybe to 10, I suppose, and the color should be something like this, slightly bluish color. It depends on you, it depends on what colors do you like, but I prefer to have a color like this, and that's okay. I think, yeah, that will be good. So I was trying to add some roughness effect to these parts, to the rusty parts, but it didn't work. I didn't know why. I was trying to do that several times, but every time it had problems and it didn't work for me with adding Shift A and adding a color ramp in between, not here, adding a color ramp. Let me correct these parts. Adding a color ramp in between these color ramp, plug-in factor to the color and color to the roughness, but it isn't working properly. I wanted to just adding these effects inside of these bumps, but it didn't work. It's applying for all of the shape and I don't want it, so I didn't do that. If you know the answer, just let me know in the comments as well, that why it isn't working. So I'm so curious and I'm looking forward to find answers for that. Okay, for this part, let's click on here and select lid and click on this 2 to take a copy of that. So I'm going to change it to bottom maybe, and in that case it will change it to another material. So let's bring these ones closer. Let's tidying up this stuff. Okay, so let's change these colors a little bit. Select this, first of all, the pink color, select the eyedropper tool. Oh, we have to come all the way down first. So select the eyedropper tool and select one of these colors, maybe this one. So for this part, the rusty effect should be this color, the creamy maybe color like this. And for this part, we will need to maybe increase the scale just a little bit, just like that. Okay, so for this part, the middle, holder part, this part, I'm gonna just give a simple texture, just call it pink, and where is it? Okay, let's select this part, and with eyedropper tool, just find the correct color for that. I think that would be good, but maybe we can make it a little bit more brighter, just like that. And for these parts, I'm gonna add another material named gray, just a simple material. I'm not focusing more on these parts. You can just go along and add more professional and better materials than me. So because it's a tutorial and we're not gonna focusing on that part, so increase the metallic a little bit and decrease the roughness to give a metal kinda looking like. So select this one and this one, press Ctrl L and click on link materials to copy the materials for this one as well. So in that case, we have two exact same materials. And for this one, at the end, this would be our wire. I'm going to call it wire and change the color to all the way in between dark and dark gray color, and decrease the roughness just to give it a this kind of effect. Maybe we can increase it a little bit. Here the color is somehow pinky, but I don't prefer to give it a pink color. Okay, and press 0 again to focus on our camera. And this part in the middle, this would be our lamp. So I'm gonna call it glass, no glass, white glass. So come to transmission and increase the weight to 1 and decrease the roughness to all the way up to this point. It should be like this. Okay, so press 0, hold Shift S and select cursor to select it. Oh, not sorry. Select the selected to selection to cursor, no, cursor to selected. Where is it? Cursor to selected. And in that case, our cursor is in the middle of that bulb, so we can just press Shift A and add a point light here in the between it, in the middle of that. So I'm gonna increase the power way more, maybe about 120, because it would be our light and it would be our glow effect coming down through the inside of the lamp. So I'm gonna change the color to about a slightly grayish and yellowish and orangish color, just like that, to give this effect here. And I'm gonna press 7 and I'm gonna make the make the light closer to our lamp. I think it's good. And let's add another light, another support light. Press 7 to go to top of the graphic view. Press Shift D and to duplicate the color and bring it lower all the way up to that point and rotate that. So it would be another light. Press 0 again to go to camera view, and it would be our another supportive color. Let's increase it in the size a little bit to give a soft shadows for us, and decrease the power to about maybe 8 or something, and change the color to a bluish color like that. I like the effects. Okay, and for the last part of the lid, the end part of the lid, it is if you look at the reference, it's gray. So I'm gonna use the the material that I gave this to these parts, these handles. So select it and press tab to go to edit mode and come all the way up to the last part. Select 3 to face selection mode, to select face selection mode, and select the last face and press Ctrl+ in numpad and just hold down Ctrl and hit plus several times up to that point that expand your selection. And when it's done, because we're gonna give the material up to here, when it's done, come to the material part. Oh, where does it go? So click on plus and assign. In that case, it will assign a new material to that. You can just click on new and give it a completely new material, or you can just click on this part and choose one of the materials that we created before. And I'm gonna choose the gray material and hit tab to go to edit mode. So press 0 and there we go. But I think it should be a little bit, more darker. So click on this 3 to take a copy of this, and I'm gonna change the base color much more darker, and the metallic part it shouldn't be that much. So the roughness as well, it should go a little bit. I think that's good now. So it is done here. So let's add these stickers and sticky note. First of all, I'm gonna add the sticky note. It should be somewhere around maybe here. So right click, hold down shift and right click here to snap the cursor to the point that you wanna. So let's change this part for now to 3D viewport and to see it properly. So press shift A and add a plane, and press 3 to go to the side orthographic view to see it properly. Just rotate that and scale it down, down, down. Okay, so, and also rotate it again, bring it a little bit to that part, maybe here. Yeah, I think that's good. So scale it down a little bit more, even more. Okay, I like it. So press tab to go to edit mode, and in that case we're gonna add some loop cuts, because we don't have enough vertices to work on with them, because if we rotate and move one of them, the others also we don't have sufficient information here. So press Ctrl R to add some loop cuts, maybe 3, and here we can just add some of them around 4, and select one of them and bring them close to the surface. Just it has to be not that accurate, because there's no need to stick it all of them perfectly to the face, because it's a sticky note and we're gonna add a tape for it for just the higher part. But these parts should go a little bit outside, this one as well. Okay, and this part. Okay, I think that is good. So this part we can just select all of these last parts and press 3. So with G, bring them higher and rotate them, bring them higher even more, and hold down Alt Z to enable the X-ray selection mode. Select all of these loop cuts and with G bring them higher, and select these ones, press E to extrude them once more even to just create an effect like this. And I think that's done for this part. So select one of these squares, so press Shift D to duplicate that, and press P to separate the selection and click on the selection. So select this one and bring it higher, and let's just hold down Alt C to disable the X-ray selection mode. Press tab to go to edit mode. Oops, where is it? Okay, bring it higher. Okay, so I think we have to work on it a little bit. Just it has to be like this. It has to be looking like a tape, and it has to bring them down a little bit, and there we go. Okay, that's good. So now all we need to do is to just add the textures, but first of all let's select this one and Ctrl A and apply the scale. Also for this one, Ctrl A, apply the scale, and this origin of this tape is here because we take a copy of that, so make sure to correct it. Right click, set origin to geometry. So select this one and come to the let's change this part to a shader editor and click on new, and I'm gonna call it sticky note, and click on this principal PSTF and hold down Ctrl T to bring these nodes, and click on open, and just select this sticky note and bring it here. So in that case it would bring it, and we don't need any UV unwrapping and this kind of stuff. So select this tape here, let's zoom in a little bit, and click on new, and I'm gonna call it tape. Okay, and for the color I'm gonna give it a slightly pale yellowish color, and come to transmission, increase it all the way up to 1, the weight, and decrease the roughness just like that. But it's the too much yellowish, I don't want an effect like this. Let's make it less saturated. That is good. Okay, so let's come back to 3D viewport, and this time I'm gonna add some modifiers for these ones and give it some thickness. So first of all, let's go to edit mode with tab and select all of them, and this time press E and bring it lower a little bit. But as soon as you do that, it's turning black most of the time. Why? Because the UVs, because the, what, I forgot the verb. What was that? The normals, yeah, the normals are changing. We have to recalculate the normals. So press Shift N to recalculate the normals and flip the normals, and in that case it will be okay. So select this one again and press Ctrl 2 to add 2 levels of subdivision modifier. Right click and shade smooth, and press tab to go to edit mode and add some supportive loop cuts here and there. It is not a big deal that you can do easily just here and there. So it would be our tape, and let's do the same thing for our sticky note. So right click, shade smooth, let's add the supportive loop cuts first here and there, and this one. So Ctrl 2, and we need to add a thickness. So press A to select everything. This time hold Alt and E and extrude faces along normals and extrude them just up to there. So that's good, and I'm satisfied with the result. So let's go on with adding these 2 stickers. So the first one, we're gonna add it maybe here according to our reference. So right click, hold Shift and right click here and press Shift A and add a plane image as from the image part and mesh plane. So first of all, I'm gonna add this part, the cactus one. So press R twice to enable the track rotation and scale it down. R again, and bring it a little bit to the front of it. So I think that would be good. Let's rotate it even a little bit more, just like that. And we'll need to add some loop cuts, because we're gonna add a modifier called shrink, if I'm not wrong, the shrink wrap modifier. In that case, it will stick our object to the target object that we're gonna choose. But we don't have enough vertices. We have to have a little bit more to make it smoother. So let's add 4 here and maybe 8 vertices here, 8 loop cuts here. So all we need to do is to just go to modifiers tab and add this modifier from deform and select the shrink wrap modifier, and in the target part select the eyedropper tool and select this lid part, and there you go, it sticks it to the lid. And all you need to do is to just to increase the offset. So I'm going to increase it to all the way just this point, and I think that will working very well. So we can just go to the shading part and let's change it to render view, and with the I'm gonna change the roughness maybe to make it a little bit shiny. And also on the sheen part, let's increase the weight all the way up to 1 to have this effect a little bit, and increase the roughness here just a bit. In that case we'll have this effect, this cool effect. So I think that's good. So let's right click and hold down shift and right click here to add the second cactus. So shift A and add a mesh plane, another mesh plane, and select the cactus to image, and click and so press R twice to enable the trackball rotation. You know, I'm confusing English and Korean language, so I have to, you know, during recording and doing this stuff, I have to memorize all of the words. So sometimes I couldn't find the correct words. Okay, I think that is okay. Let's rotate this a little bit on the z-axis, just like that, and I think it would be better, or maybe we need to scale it down a bit. So let's add the shrink wrap modifier, and oh, but we didn't add the, you know, loop cuts. So hold Control R to add 4 loop cuts and 8 here. Now let's select the target, delete part, and let's do the same thing that we did for the previous one. Just do it up to 0.001, and there we go. We can just come to the shading part as well and did the same thing that we did for the previous one. Decrease the roughness a bit and come to the sheen and increase the weight and increase the roughness just a little bit. And for this one, I think maybe we need to decrease it. Okay, so I think it is done, everything. Let's take the render, press F12, or you can just come to the render and render image. After the rendering is done, just don't do anything, just close this panel and come to the compositing and close this panel and press N to close this right part as well, and check the use nodes here. So in that case we can use our nodes to control our, you know, compositing and adding more nodes here. So first thing, our render, just hold down Control and Shift and select, right click on, first thing our render, just hold down Control and Shift and left click on the render layers. In that case we will see our last rendered result. So it will open up the viewer node as well, and if it's not working for you, it's because of the Node Wrangler add-on. As I said previously, you have to go to edit, and in the add-ons you have to enable the Node Wrangler add-on. In that case it will work for you as well. So for zooming in and out of this image, you have to press V. If you press V, it will zoom out, and if you hold down Alt and press V, it will zoom in. In that case you can see it properly. So let's press Shift A and search for glare. I'm gonna add a glare and bloom effect here. So let's plug it here, and also image to the image. In that case we will see our gloom effects, but it's not working well because it has different types. We have to change it to bloom. So you see it is working really well now, and you can just control the amount to customize it, and I think it's actually doing a great job here. So you can control the size, you can control the mix, and also let's change the medium to high, the quality of the glare. And I think, yeah, I'm really satisfied with the shape here. That's actually good. So that's it. You can just go along and adding more lights to make it a little bit more, you know, fantastic effect and fantasy effect, not fantastic, giving some fantasy effects, and here and there to adding more lights like this. Let me add another light, press Shift D and rotate that a little bit and bring it all the way down. And maybe in that case we'll need to have a light from the below here. So let's change the color to maybe a, what kind of color? Maybe now a bluish color, just like this, from here, appearing from here, and it will enhance the quality of your lighting and rendering effects. Okay, so the tutorial is done here. I hope you liked it and learned lots of things from it. And about the challenge that I told you in the beginning of this video, for the challenge, try to make your own version of the study light with the things that you learned in this video and in this two-part tutorial, and just go along with your own imagination, or if you have some another types in your mind for the study light, just try to make them and go furthermore, even more than this tutorial, and make better qualities, because you have more time when you're working with yourself in comparison to the recording video. So try to create your own models and own versions of the study light and stylize and customize that in your own way, and send me the picture of that with your own info, with your name and these kind of things, and to my email, the chaakoraa.productions@gmail.com. In that case, I will choose one or two of the the best ones, and I will reveal them in my future videos and upcoming videos. And also I'm gonna talk about them and give my comments about your works, and in that case your work also will be shown in my videos as well. So it was the good news and a challenge for you to go on and give you a little bit more inspiration to work on your own projects. Okay, see you on the next videos.